Hi friends, Mindy here. Happy New Year. I hope you all are doing well and that your celebrations this holiday season were happy and joyful. I am bringing along today, I'm going to be setting up my calendar for January, my bullet journal. I work in an 8x8 Archer and Olive square dot grid journal. This is the same journal that I have been using. I migrated into this journal a few months ago, and so I'm just continuing on in it. I don't start a new journal every month. I do have some spreads at the very beginning that are like future logs that I did intentionally when I migrated into this journal. Let me know if you'd like to see what those kind of look like. But so for this purpose, I'm just going to be sharing my January pages. As you can see, I've already just hand lettered the word January and the year. And then I did that with a Posca paint pen. I kind of increased the downstrokes to make it give that sort of faux calligraphy. And now I'm coming in with a Tombow jewel brush marker and just adding a little drop shadow. It's very hard to see because this is a very light gray, but it does just add a little bit of interest. So those Posca pens you'll see used throughout all of these pages, and as well as these distress colors. So I used tumbled glass, salvaged patina, and stormy sky for my colors kind of for this month. I'm using this stencil from By the Well for God that has these snowflakes. I thought this was back in stock, but it either has sold out or I got my information crossed, but because this stencil did sell out, but any stencil that you have would work, or whatever your theme is. I'm going with the snowflake theme. I like to do that in January because we don't get snow here in Georgia, and I'm actually from Colorado, so I sometimes miss the snow, although I don't really miss having to scrape off my car. So I just kind of live vicariously through my bullet journal spread for the month of January, I guess. And then now moving on here, I'm actually going to be doing my pages for my month in a view calendar, and I had to erase some of my lines because for this marker I'm actually using a gray Faber-Castell Pitt Artist pen. This is the dual marker, so one tip is like a bullet tip and then the other tip is a brush tip. But because these are more translucent obviously than a paint pen, it was showing the pencil mark through, so I went and just erased my pencil lines just a little bit, and then now I'm coming through with a Pentel, I believe this is the Pentel Touch pen, and just writing the days of the week. For my month in review, I like a Sunday start. I know some people in their bullet journal actually start on a Monday, but my brain just doesn't work that way. I just need a traditional calendar for my brain. So my month at a glance is always a Sunday start, but my weeklies are always a Monday start. That's just what works best in my brain. So I used that brush tip side over there to just put January. And then I'm using, this is like the Matthew Numbers set from By the Well for God. And I'm just going to go through and stamp all the ones. I'm using tumbled glass distress oxide ink here for this. And so when you do it that way, it kind of goes a little bit faster than trying to do it all individually. So I went and stamped all the ones and then all the twos and then all the threes and then filled in everything that was left over. It just helps that go a little bit faster. And normally on this page, I used to write out January across that left side. But this month I decided to just be able to leave that open so I can list some intentions that I have for the month. And then I stamped some snowflakes with those same ink colors, but that's an old stamp set that I've had forever. I want to say it's a Cartabella stamp set, if I remember correctly. And so I'll be using those kind of interchangeably, the stamps and the stencils. And so this page is a page I get asked about quite a lot, but I include it pretty much every month. This is my project bingo page. I'm just writing bingo across the top with a paint pen. And I just have a few things that I list in here. And this kind of varies from month to month. Sometimes if I'm in the middle of, like a purging process, I will list those kinds of things in there. Sometimes it's projects I want to finish. Sometimes it's just art projects that I want to do. It just kind of varies, but it's just a fun way for me to keep track of some things that I want to do. So I'm just using that Pentel Touch pen through here and writing project over the top of the word bingo. And then I added a little snowflake to my free space in there. And then over here on the left, I'm actually going to use another one of those Pentel brush pens, and I'm writing out a line a day. This is another page that pretty much shows up every month in my bullet journal. This is a way for me to record something that happened or something that I'm grateful for, something I want to remember from that day. And you could certainly just do this page much easier and, number from 1 to 31 or whatever. But I like to have the little boxes. I've done it before where I just kind of write, literally like one line. But after a while, everything just kind of runs together. And so it's just easier for me to have these little boxes and have a little bit of a separation between each of the days. So I am adding some washi tape that I've had in my stash forever down here at the bottom, just because it kind of goes with this theme. It's got some snowflakes and little mittens and stuff, and in these colors. And then I'm going to add just a few little snowflakes up here at the top just to bring some more color up there. And because by the end of this month, this page is always kind of busy from all of the writing and everything that's on there. So I do try to keep it pretty simple. And then these two pages are probably something that is, not for everybody, but it's just something that keeps me organized. So these are the two pages that I use for my video ideas and my YouTube schedule. Sometimes if I'm recording ahead of time, it helps to have a schedule for me to know like when things are posting and that kind of stuff. On that note, I do list video ideas if, people leave comments or whatever for things that they'd like to see or questions or whatever. I try to write those down here so I have an ongoing list. So if you have something that you'd like to see from me in 2025, feel free to leave that in the comments below, and I will add that to my ideas and try to get a video up. And again, I'm just doing this page very simply, but I don't always fill these pages. So I'm going to use my stencil here again and just stencil some snowflakes in those same colors: tumbled glass, salvage patina, stormy sky, down here kind of at the bottom of the page. And the good thing about this is it adds a little bit of interest to these pages, but I can still write over it, and because the colors are light enough. So I try to be intentional with kind of the colors that I'm using and where I'm placing them so that I can still write over the top of them. Nothing is so dark that I can't write over it, because I typically use a black Sharpie S-Gel for my planner. So this next page is one that I have not actually done in a bullet journal for probably a couple of years, actually. And I used to do it all the time. It's just a fun little page. And so I'm adding in another grid. This is kind of very similar to the bingo page, except that this will have one box for every day of the month. So there will be 31 boxes, obviously, for January. And I'm just going to draw in this grid. I am using that Faber-Castell dual brush marker again here. And then what this page is for is to really kind of keep track of something that happened every day, or something I want to remember, or something I did or whatever, but in a doodle form. So I call this page Daily Doodle. I used to follow a lady who would do like a prompt list, and she had every day she had a doodle prompt, and you would kind of draw it out. And then I sort of changed it to kind of be more like something that I did or something I want to remember for that day. I also included a self-care page. That's something I want to focus on, even if that's just, like going for a drive or whatever. Just a few things that I want to do for the month of January. I haven't included either of those pages in a bullet journal spread in a bit. So I wanted to include those, and I'm actually sticking with the same format that I've been using. It's just really been working for me for my weekly schedule. I will probably try to change it up. That's one thing. I get bored when I've been doing it for a while. And so I'll probably change it up maybe for February. We'll see. But for right now, I didn't really feel like reinventing the wheel for my monthly or my weekly calendar. So this is actually for December 30th through January 5th. You can see I'm just making sure I have my dates right. Using a Posca pen over there on the left side. I used that to also number the days. And then I'm coming back in with that same color in a different nib of a Posca paint pen and just writing the sections here. The top section is my top 3, my meals for the week, and then some habits that I want to do. These are also sometimes not necessarily habits I'm trying to do, but things I just don't want to have to do, like write down every day that I need to do. But I need to remember to do them. I'm really bad at like taking medicine and that kind of stuff. So sometimes I have to write that down so that I have a visual to remind myself. I know that sounds silly, but it's just how my brain works sometimes. Anyway, and then I'm just coming back around with those same colors and those little snowflake stamps. And some of the weekly spreads I use the stamps, and some of them I use the stencil, and I'll do a flip through so you can kind of see what all of those pages ended up looking like. So I did do a 25 and 25. This is kind of a bucket list type list that I wanted to do for this year. This is what my January page, I did leave that section over on the left for intentions for the month, my line a day and project bingo pages, which I will fill in. And let me know if you want to see an after the pen. I don't really share those too often, but let me know if that's something that would be helpful to see how this all comes together at the end of the month. So this is this first week of January, and then I actually go all the way through the first part of February with my weekly spreads this time. It just seemed to work out the best. So anyway, that's it for me for this month. So if you like this video, I would appreciate it if you gave it a thumbs up. Subscribe to my channel if you haven't already, and until next time, bye.